Welcome, everyone, to the L7C Podcast Wrestling Edition. Today, we are going to be talking about Money in the Bank that just happened this past weekend. We got the wrestling expert, Jacob Mason. How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, I'm good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. We're in one of the peak wrestling seasons, so we have a lot of you on the L7C for the next couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah, it'll be good times.
And then with these big pay-per-views, the captain helps us out. Byron Mitchell, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. What a great Money in the Bank. Overall, it was.
And with wrestling being busy, you always help us out on the big four pay-per-views, the big events. So that means also you're in a busy season as well.
Yep, busy season. Love it. Love watching wrestling and helping you guys out on the podcast.
Hey, man, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. Jacob needs another person that he can get riled up like he gets me riled up sometimes with his takes. So it all works out.
He does a good job.
He does a very good job. I mean, the past couple ones, he's got me riled up. He has.
This is going life. Get people pissed off and let them rant. That's where all the views.
But yeah, let's get right into it, man. Money in the Bank was this past Saturday, July 2nd. There actually was not that many matches on the card, 7 in total, but 2 of them were Money in the Bank matches, so 5 regular matches. We're just going to go right into it, give our thoughts, and go from there. First match on the card, women's Money in the Bank ladder match. You had Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Becky, Lacey, Raquel, and Shotzi. We all said on the L7C podcast who needed to win. We all agreed on who needed to win. Liv Morgan does come out on top, and it's one of those which I feel like we haven't had this in a while, and we'll go on later on what she does. One of those feel-good wrestling moments we have not had in a minute. So, Byron, you've been big on Liv. You're, like you've already said, you're the biggest Becky stan we have. And you said that day one, Liv should have beat Becky for the title. You've held on hope. We were here. How did you feel during this match and her finally winning?
So overall, I mean, I felt great. I didn't get to watch the match live because I was at my niece's birthday party. So I watched it the day after. And just feeling the emotion of the match and finally seeing Liv grab that briefcase was just an amazing feeling. I know the crowd was behind it when she won. I know, like you said, we've all wanted her to win since last year's Money in the Bank. She definitely should have won the big belt at day one, but I'm so glad that she finally got to win the Money in the Bank. It was a feel-good moment. You could see the emotions just on her face. It just made the moment even better. I also like the contrast of her emotion of winning it, and then you see like Becky throwing a tantrum on the side. I think it was just like a perfect contrast of a winner and a loser. It was just a great shot.
Yeah, and shout out to Becky Lynch too with that emotion because she is in her bag. Her whole family are in their bags right now.
Yes.
Her and Seth. Like, it's hard for me to pick who I think's better right now.
Yeah, they're both doing excellent work. They're both red hot right now.
Jacob, man, what'd you think of Liv fulfilling the L7C destiny yet again, man? We got another one.
I was stoked about it. I was super happy to see it. I said she needed to win it, her or Lacey, but I thought Liv was going to win it, so I was happy. I was happy with that. Another Mason prediction coming true. But this is one of the very few times, like you said, where it's a feel-good moment. And very rarely does it happen at Money in the Bank. It's always someone you never want to win.
Mm-hmm.
So for all this to come true, I mean, hey, at least the fans got what they've been wanting. Finally, enough complaining, enough ranting in comment sections and everything else. Finally, we all get to rejoice and go, hey, this is good shit.
So like going later on in what she does, like my wife, who we were watching Money in the Bank together, she was just like, oh my gosh, Liv won. And she was excited. And she even got more excited later on in the night And when Byron was talking to her yesterday, she's like, all that matters is Liv won, right? Like Liv won. And then Byron's like, yeah, like that's how big a moment it was for Liv winning. Did you guys see Shotzi Blackheart's little botch that she had during the match?
When she like tried to, I don't know if she's trying to like suplex Alexa Bliss, but like she like crashed her into the ladder and like the ladder slipped.
Yeah. So obviously it's going to go on Botchamania on the YouTube. But the problem is Shotzi, which I haven't seen a wrestler really come out in a long time. She came at it like she tweeted. She's like, there's 3 things I care about at the end of the match. Is everyone safe? Did everyone have fun? Did the crowd react? Nobody got hurt. And she brought up like, oh, now I'm going to be on Botchamania, blah, blah, blah. And she told them to all of her haters, and I quote, suck my big, giant, hairy mangoes. And then everyone's talking about how bad wrestling Twitter is. And then she deleted her Twitter today because of wrestling Twitter and people getting at her because of that botch and people talking about how everyone hates the internet wrestling community because it's 99% toxic. And I mean, we call people out when they mess up. We do in the L7C, hold everyone accountable, but we've never said anything that would make someone delete their stuff. That's just crossing the line. Jacob, what do you think about Shotzi deleting her stuff because people are coming at her about the botch and the internet wrestling community, the gift that keeps on giving?
Yeah. Give it 2 weeks. She'll be back on Twitter. Like, okay. I think every wrestler goes through this at one point or another. Like, I'm done with social media. And they're like, WWE is like, hey, you need to go post this shit on your social media. Like, fuck. Okay, well, I'm back. We're just going to delete that tweet about me not having a fucking whatever. But, yeah, the internet wrestling community is super toxic. But to both a good and a bad, let's be honest. We are so passionate about wrestling that, I mean, unfortunately, you are going to get both sides. You're going to get the people that are just absolutely fucking horrible, who literally just got strictly just to troll people. And then you're going to get people who are just passionate and care about their favorite wrestlers and care about the product and everything looking good. Like, we hold professional wrestlers to a higher standard. If you're on the big stage, congratulations. It's like getting a promotion at work. You're now held to a higher standard, and we expect more out of you.
Yeah. Byron, what do you think?
Yeah, the internet wrestling community can be like super toxic. I just, on any given day, you can like scroll through Twitter and just like people trolling like wrestlers, especially like female wrestlers. I think they get like the most toxicity out of any professional wrestler. I mean, like you said, we hold people accountable, but like the internet wrestling community is just, they're bad when they hold people accountable. I wish they were like sometimes tone it back sometimes, because there's no reason to make someone delete their Twitter because you are calling out a botch. So you have to know it has to be super bad. But like you said, she'll probably be back soon tweeting about WWE. But also, I wanted to call Shotzi about something. She actually should be dead because there was a spot where she jumped off the ladder. Jumped off the turnbuckle onto a ladder that Becky was on, but Becky like moved out the way and she hit like either her head or the back of her neck, and it looked super bad.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about too. There was also a point too when she came out and Courtney's like, "Oh, what happened to her tank? That'd be cool if she won Money in the Bank. It was driving her tank around." I was like, I told her, I was like, hey, Shotzi has no chance, but she would be someone who would have benefited heavily if she would have won.
Yeah, they should have kept her in the tank. I think that was a cool gimmick, but WWE got to change things. That arm broke.
Let's go on to the next match. You had Bobby Lashley versus Theory in this match for the United States Championship. Theory hit Bobby with his spear. Bobby got bloodied up in the mouth, but Bobby Lashley defeated Theory by submission. I do want to say something about Bobby, but also before I say another thing, Bobby is over. He is over. Like the crowd is chanting his name, and people are saying it's a damn shame they did not do Bobby and Roman at SummerSlam.
Oh yeah, Bobby is super over. What was the last pay-per-view before Money in the Bank? I can't think of it. Was it Hell in a Cell?
Hell in a Cell, yep.
I don't know who he hit against almost. Like after the match, you could tell he was super over with the crowd.
Yeah, and he was pointing the title, and I'll just say the stat now. Bobby Lashley, from the stat I saw, has not been pinned since he lost that briefcase. Well, since he lost the title to Big E. He's not been pinned.
Yeah, that's an impressive streak.
And it's going under the radar. But yeah, he's not been pinned since the Big E cash-in. Which I didn't know that. So, and that's why I was like, wow. But what did you think of him winning the title? Obviously, Theory has become a hot topic, and we'll get to him later too. But what did you think of the match, Byron? It was a nice 11-minute match.
Nice 11-minute match, back and forth. I was very surprised that Bobby won. I said on the podcast that Theory was going to win because he's Vince McMahon's golden boy. But I'm glad Bobby won. I like Bobby. Seems like every time I pick against Bobby, he always comes out on top. So thanks, Bobby. But good match. It was a badass shot of Bobby raising the title with blood in his mouth. Just that man is so over. I really hope he gets a title shot, a WWE Universal title shot soon, or whatever they're calling it.
Byron, Jacob, what did you think of the match?
I liked it. I liked it. It's a good United States Championship match. It's my favorite title. I love Theory's spear though. They threw on fucking Bobby. That shit looked fucking good. I wouldn't have guessed Bobby was going to go over though. But
I don't think any of us did.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that at all. Fucking Austin Theory though. I don't know what the long-term plan is with him, but it's very intriguing with Austin Theory. Right. And he's going to have that rematch at SummerSlam, so fucking anything can happen.
That's true. And we'll get to Theory later. Next one, no-brainer, another one of the L7Cs. Bianca Belair beat Carmella by pinfall. I was sitting there. I was telling my wife, I was like, oh, she's in the finisher. She's in the KOD. It's over. Carmella's not good enough to kick out of 2 finishers. This match is over, and that's how it ended. Anything we wanted to add on this?
I did have. So, I think this goes back to our topic on last podcast of, Bianca being, super athletic. There's this spot that she does, seems like either every match or every other match, where she does, a cartwheel from front flip combo from one turnbuckle to the other turnbuckle, gets on top of the turnbuckle, does her, kiss my ass taunt, to a backflip as opponent is charging at her. Then does a kip up to a drop kick. And it's just an impressive thing. That whole combination just impresses me every time, and I will never get over it. And there's this one submission that Carmella did that looked really, really impressive. So shout out to her. She's one of those ones that people the company always calls on to have a title match or be a number one contender match. She's one of those consistent performers that WWE calls on.
Yeah, she can be sitting there for not doing anything for 4 months. And then obviously when Rhea gets hurt, they throw her in. So, and then
how the fuck did she become number one contender?
They had a match.
Yeah, I didn't even I didn't even really realize how she was even facing Bianca. And I'm and Carmella, I'm oh, okay, well, we need a filler. That's it. She's just the ultimate filler.
She really is. That's a good way, the ultimate filler. And I will say that her husband, even though I hate when he calls her stuff, he did have some funny lines bringing up the old Triple H Stephanie Vegas wedding and things like that. He was funny, but he annoys me.
He has some great lines. There was this one point where Bianca kicked Carmella in the mouth, and then Corey Graves yelled, "She's not even on my dental plan yet."
that was funny. That was funny. That was hilarious. But yeah, Bianca, that was easy money for her. She goes to SummerSlam, which she's probably going to be facing your girl again, Byron. Becky Lynch at probably SummerSlam.
Yeah, probably. Like you called it last podcast. Her and Asuka had an amazing no hold barred match last night.
The main event.
She won, so I definitely think she'll probably face Bianca at SummerSlam again.
Then you got the match. The Usos, Jay and Jimmy versus Street Profits, the second longest match on the card outside of the men's Money in the Bank. Jacob, man, this tag team match had a lot of people talking, the casuals, the hardcores, the back and forths, the perfect near falls, almost a perfect ending too, because you didn't think the Usos were going to lose, but the near falls were making you believe they were going to lose. What do you have to say about this tag match, man?
This was a fucking banger. Let's be real. This was an absolute fucking banger. Street Profits and Usos delivering once again. This is what, like the third or fourth time I think they've had like title matches against each other. Mm-hmm. But everyone won in this match. This is ideally what you want, where it's, you know, the Usos, you got to keep the titles on them because of the storylines. That's fine, whatever, I guess. But Street Profits didn't. They might have lost, but they look so freaking good right now.
Yeah.
What else could you ask for? An absolute banger, classic fucking tag match. You know, shit. I mean, this is what you want. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. This is what you want in any match. Or just, it's a tag match. It was fucking awesome.
And you could drop your signature line where you sports entertained.
I was so fucking sports entertained during this fucking match. Super sports entertained.
I'm at the point too, is like where I don't know who's going to beat the Usos. I don't think they lose until the storyline obviously permits them to lose, but the athleticism that they were all showing, especially Angelo Dawkins, because people always, they know Montez is super athletic, but Angelo's like 6'5", close to 300 pounds, and he's jumping over the top rope. Like, he doesn't get the respect he deserves, because I don't know if you guys have seen the rumors saying that, and Caleb Braxton brought up, Montez is potentially going to be a single competitor, and that would make Angelo Dawkins like the next Tucker after Otis and them. But I'm like, dude, Angelo Dawkins can go.
Yeah. Him jumping over the top turnbuckle was impressive as hell. Like, this match, like Jacob said, was a banger. The Usos and the Street Profits have crazy chemistry together. They put on bangers after bangers when they go together. A couple of spots I want to shout out. There was like a spot where Dawkins and Jay was exchanging blows, and Jay yells, "Give me that shit," which was hilarious. Again, the Dawkins spot for jumping over the turnbuckle is always impressive as hell. Just athletic as hell. And then the ending of the match was also one of my favorite. Well, not one of my favorites because the Street Profits lost, and I want the Street Profits to win. But the anger on Montez was, you could like feel that emotion, because the ending, his shoulder was up, but they still called it because the ref couldn't see that his shoulder was up. So after the match, he yells, "My shoulder was up. Why the fuck the match stopped?"
And they didn't block it out.
They didn't bleep it out.
Oh my god!
Not even when I watched the replay, it was still in there. Like on they didn't block it out on the replay either, which was amazing. So I need them to run this match back. I need them to, because that was a banger match of the night, in my opinion.
I think the only problem, which it's WWE, so you can have nice things, but then you can't have nice things, because the next Monday on Raw, they were in the signature 4th of July happy. They should have been happy. They should have had their own segment where they came out and started bitching, saying our shoulders weren't down. We want one final match with the Usos. If we don't win, we never get a chance while they're champions again, in some Hell in a Cell, whatever, ended. But maybe they'll come on SmackDown and say something, but that's my only one gripe. But I agree. When Montez really yelled, "Why the fuck the match stop?" I was like, oh my God. I was like, Stephanie? We're just letting things go? I was like, all right.
They let drop some bombs in this match. Yelling, cursing. I'm here for it.
Well, next match is one of our favorites. Ronda Rousey against Natalya. And to no one's surprise, Ronda Rousey beat Natalya by submission. If anyone who really thought Natalya was going to win, you do not listen to the L7C podcast. But
She's only $1.
Oh, I listen, I have something all for that too. So, and then Ronda gets hurt. Liv Morgan comes out and she's going to cash in the briefcase. And my first initial was, oh my gosh, she's going to lose. And this place is going to revolt against the pay-per-view. And there was one time when she was in that ankle lock and I'm like, she's going to tap. She's really going to tap. And I was already getting ready. I was writing my notes, how many cuss words I was going to say on this podcast. I was going to go CM Punk on the McMahon family. Liv gets out of that ankle lock, rolls her up. 1, 2, 3. Pins Ronda Rousey to become the new women's champion. So first we'll do in 2 parts. The Ronda and Natalya. Jacob, there was a lot of submissions and it was a technical match. What did you think of the Ronda and Natalya part?
Yeah, it's standard, whatever, Ronda Rousey match. That's about it. I mean, what else you got to say? Because no one went into this like, oh my God, Natalya's got a chance. Like, no one thought that. It's like, all right, let's just hurry up, get this over with, on to the next thing. That's all I thought about during this match.
Same. Byron, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I thought it was a smooth match. There's definitely some smooth transitions between submission counters, which I thought was cool. And I thought it was a cool nod to HBK when Ronda put Natty in a sharpshooter. She did like the HBK pose. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was cool too. But overall, good, solid technical match. What more can you ask for?
To the cash in. Did you guys think Liv was going to be successful?
Again, I didn't see this live, so I didn't see it. So I just got the text message from you that said, Liv is SmackDown Women's Champion. But watching it, I did think she was going to tap out if she didn't kick Ronda's injured knee. I really thought she was going to tap out.
Jacob?
Dude, she was so, all right, so it's kind of, I was torn. So a little timeline of my life when this was all going on. My Pirate TV first went to absolute shit, and I couldn't watch a UFC pay-per-view. So instead, at 10 o'clock at night, I'm up and driving 40 minutes north to go buy fireworks. But yeah, so my phone starts blowing up because I got you saying like Liv's cashing in, and I'm looking on my Facebook and stuff, seeing like all the up to date shit, like play by play. And so like the whole time, like I'm sitting in the back seat of this SUV with my friends, and I'm like, oh shit, fucking Liv's cashing in. Like, oh shit, it's like freaking out. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, dude, there's no way she's going to win. It's Ronda Rousey. Like, they're just going to shit on Liv. But at the same time, it's like, does Liv have a chance? Liv does have a chance. It's a small chance, but it's a chance. So I was torn. I didn't know what was going to happen, but when she won, it's like, holy fuck, Liv Morgan is champion. It took forever, but we finally got here. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, because, man, I was a tale of two emotions. When Ronda was in that thing, I was standing up. I was near my TV, and I was like, don't you dare fucking tap. Do not do this. If you do this, there's no coming back. There's no coming back for Liv. And then when she won, I was like, holy shit. I was like, let's go. Liv is freaking champion. My wife's there like, yay. And I'm just like, I'm like, oh my gosh. And then like seeing the emotion and then the grind. And then Michael Cole, who does get a lot of shit, but he summed it up great. He's like, I met this girl called Liv by her real name, Gianni or something like that. Like Gianna called her by her real name, met her 8 years, which is kind of crazy to think that Liv Morgan's almost been in WWE for almost 10 years. That's wild. And like, when she won, I just sat there and all the emotion. And I'm like, I think this hit the thing we've talked on the L7C, that there really hasn't been an impactful cash in like that since probably Seth. Like an impactful, like a heist of the century. And you're sitting there seeing Liv cash in, you're like, oh my gosh, she did it. And like seeing the crowd, obviously all the wrestlers across the planet congratulating her, obviously the Riot Squad, all the people in different promotions. But to really put in perspective for Liv and why this is such a big deal, this was really the first title exchange between two non-horse women members since Natalya won it from Naomi in 2017. And that was at SummerSlam Brooklyn, August 20th, 2017. That is the last time the title did any women's titles have not changed hands that didn't involve a 4 horsewoman. That's crazy.
That's insane when you think about it. Like almost 5 years of the 4 horsewomen like being on top.
And there's obviously Asuka's thrown in there, obviously, who like the title exchange between a 4 horsewoman and her, and now recent history, a 4 horsewoman and Bianca.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, since SummerSlam 2017, this is the first exchange between 2 non-horsewomen members.
Wait, I don't know how true that stat is. Because now didn't Rhea get the title from Asuka?
She got the Raw. That is true. She got the Raw title. This is talking about the, let me see.
SmackDown.
They're just talking about
this.
Yeah, they're just talking about
okay,
SmackDown.
okay.
Which, if you do the Raw one, which I will pull up while you guys are talking, that's probably just as bad. Because if you do the Rhea one, you take that one out. But then if you put, that's another thing. If you include Asuka, both stats inflate a lot.
Yeah.
Because like everyone, we even us call her an official 4 horsewoman member. Because she's the only one who was hanging with them.
Yeah,
Right.
She's a 5th horsewoman.
But Jacob, man, what do you think when you hear about that stat, the title, like Liv winning, this not involving the 4 horse? Like, what do you think of that? And her pinning Ronda to the mat, which another 4 horsewoman stat, only one of them or a tag team are the only people to ever beat her.
It's a good change. It's what this company needed. They needed to make. It's not like she wasn't a star, but this solidifies her
Yes.
as a star. And this is what you needed. We haven't had this since really Alexa Bliss. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard because I'm so used to bitching about WWE
Mm-hmm.
that I'm actually like, oh, hey, like they actually did a really good thing here, which is very strange. I'm not used to this. Like, I'm proud of you, WWE. Like, keep up the good work. But I don't know. We've said it forever. I mean, the 4 horsewomen run the show. Then you got Asuka, the only one who could put up a fight against them.
Now Bianca,
And Bianca.
who we also pumped up since War Games.
I mean, you have Ronda, who's the equivalent of Brock Lesnar for the women's division.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like I said, it's such a good change. And it's, like I said, it's a fucking weird feeling being like WWE did something right for once. That everyone agrees on. Like, I didn't see anyone even in the internet wrestling community bitching about this.
Oh, no, dude.
I've
There's
seen like 1 or 2, but very few and far between of trolls being trolls.
Right.
So the only thing I've seen people, which, I mean, we can get into this now, which will really get us back angry, but I want to say unhappy before we get back to angry. But I mean, Liv winning was so big that, man, I really don't post much on my Snap stories, and I was posting Liv Morgan. Like seeing her tears and all that, seeing how young she was when she started to where she is now with that title, seeing her on Monday with the You Deserve It, and her just, you could see that she is so happy she's been finally validated by the company. Like, we validated her a long time ago, and like the company finally believe in her and give her that title. She's been tweeting about the title all day. So that's really good. The only stuff I have seen people bitch, which they are saying they want to hold the reserves on Liv because of SummerSlam coming. And it's reported that it's going to be her and Ronda rematch, or Charlotte's coming back off her honeymoon and going to want her rematch, which I am nervous because I was looking, which I wanted to bring up stats too. I have these stats as well. The past last Money in the Bank winner, Nikki ASH, she cashed in the Raw after Money in the Bank, became champ, which that one didn't even feel, it felt nowhere near this. But then she lost on SummerSlam in a triple threat match that she tapped out in and never got a rematch. So I am scared. Like, if I hear Charlotte's music and she wants a match at SummerSlam, they haven't shown me that Liv would beat her for any of them again. What do you guys think?
I am definitely very nervous for Liv at SummerSlam. Because if it's Ronda, I don't know if they'll have Liv go over Ronda again. And if it's Charlotte, we all know Charlotte is Charlotte. And if she wants a title, she's getting the title. But up until, they announce who she's facing, I'm going to be super happy for Liv. I've been retweeting like everything about Liv being champion. There was this photo from Money in the Bank where it was her and Bianca Belair holding up their titles, and it was just such a feel-good photo, such a feel-good moment. But I'm definitely very nervous for SummerSlam for Liv.
Jacob, what do you think?
All right, so here we go. Here's the bold prediction of the day. Here's how the future WWE storyline's going to work. You heard it here first. I'm sure Ronda and Liv are going to have their match at SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. It's going to look like Ronda is going to win, and then you're going to hear Charlotte's music drop.
Ooh.
Charlotte's going to distract Ronda enough to Liv roll up, quick pin, 1, 2, 3. Ronda and Charlotte are then going to feud. Because Charlotte's going to want to go after Ronda for injuring her or whatever else, losing her title for the 37th time, whatever the fuck it is. But if they're smart, they're going to let the Ronda-Charlotte feud go do its thing away from the title and let Liv have championship matches with other contenders and build her up. And then Charlotte's most likely just going to take the title from her. There's no doubt there. It's a matter of time. It's like any time someone's got the title that's not Charlotte. It's like, all right, so when is Charlotte coming back? Or when is Charlotte deciding, hey, I want to go after said title? It's not if, it's when. But they need to give her a good run with this title and see what she can do with it.
Two things. One, I really like that idea because they did a similar thing with Raw. Like Becky and Asuka were main eventing, and the title was nowhere to be found. Like, obviously, it stemmed from Becky wanting her title, but then them beefing. But they were doing their own thing, and Bianca had her own feud with like Carmella. And Jacob, listening to some of her previous stuff, I do have to give you credit because I think 1 or 2 months ago, you said that a cash-in could happen on Ronda. It'd make the most sense for it to be on Ronda. Like I was the one who said. And Ronda would never go for it. But you was like, that's the only believable way for anyone to really beat her, like straight up. And you called it, man.
Yeah, and it keeps Ronda looking strong, which is what the WWE wants. It keeps Liv looking strong because she's now the champion. Like I said, going into this next match, everyone's going to think that Ronda's going to win because it's going to be a one-on-one match. The only way to make this everyone wins, Charlotte distracts Ronda, Liv wins, Ronda and Charlotte have their feud away from the title. That's the biggest point we have to make here. It has to be away from the title. And then let them focus back around, build Liv up even more to make her look like a more credible champion or a more credible threat or whatever, however you want to say it. That's the best way to go about it.
Yeah, and this is the first time in a very long time where the two main women's champions, no 4 horsewomen, no Asuka.
Yeah.
Like,
it's nice.
It's really nice. I mean, I guess you could count the Bianca Rhea time when Rhea was short-lived. Like Jacob said, time was inevitable. Charlotte was coming.
Right. And you have to accept it. It is what it is. It sucks. But as a wrestling fan, we all know how it works.
So I brought this up, and we've said this last year. Me, you, Byron, our producer Justin, we were all on a pod last year, and we said in 2021, could Charlotte get to 16 at the end of 22? And we were doing the math, and unfortunately, we are very close. Like, we're like 2 away.
We are 2 away from Charlotte having 16 in what, 6-7 years?
Which would make us the smartest wrestling podcast ever, but would make us really mad. So what would we rather? Because we said that before anyone. We're like 16 by 2022, 2023 early at the latest. Like, do we want to be the smartest people in the room, or do we want to be angry?
I'm used to it being both. I'm used to being the smartest person in the room and always being angry. So for me, it's just you learn to live with it, guys. It's okay. You know, you learn to have your highs with your lows. So I'm here for the group counseling if we need it.
Oh, we will. We will.
Yeah, we're definitely going to need some group counseling because Martin brought an interesting point in our other group chat that Charlotte is actually 5-0 at SummerSlam, which is wild to me because there was a couple of times Charlotte should not have won.
Well, she shouldn't have beat Nikki and
No.
Rhea, so that's one. What were the other ones? Do you remember off the top?
She shouldn't have beat. There's a triple threat between her, Carmella, and Becky. It was actually originally supposed to be Becky and Carmella for the title, but then inserted herself once again, and she won that match, which started the whole Becky wanting the title transformation. Which, I mean, in hindsight, it was good, but at the moment, it was like, why is Charlotte? And then there was like, I forgot the other one that she shouldn't have won. I think, it was like a Sasha and her match when I think it was like that time they were like trading titles back and forth, and Sasha was a champion and Charlotte won it. But at that time, I think Sasha should have kept it.
I hear you. Well, there's still one more match. The main event of the night, the men's Money in the Bank match. You had the competitors, Drew, Riddle, Seth Rollins, Omos, Madcap Moss, Sami Zayn, and Sheamus. Adam Pearce comes out. Still to this freaking day, I do not know who gave Adam Pearce promotion. I don't know where this man came from. Still to this day, but whatever. He comes out and is like, we have one more person to add. And I was just sitting there. I was like, oh my God, he's going to get us all mad. And here comes Theory, who lost the U.S. title earlier. We're like, joy. Longest match of the night, 25 minutes. Omos was dominating. They take him out. All of them pick him up, put him on the table. He's done. You have Seth and Riddle up top. Riddle hits him with the super RKO. Here comes Theory. Theory wins, and the crowd did not know what to do. They didn't know what to say. There was no like cheers of joy. There was no like. There's just like, what the hell is this? Byron, when you watched the match, like, what did you feel watching that match?
Overall, I thought it was a good match. There were some good spots. Like Omos looked powerful at the beginning, just like tossing everyone around, beating the people up the ladders. I like the Drew Sheamus teeing off on Theory spot, like it was like a one-man upsmanship between like the Sheamus's beats of Bowery thing. There's some good spots. The RKO looked super impressive. But I knew as soon as you text our group chat that Theory was inserted into the match that he was going to win the briefcase, and he did. I'm not happy about it because I'm not a big fan of Theory. Like he doesn't impress me, I guess, like he does like WWE and whoever his fans are. But I'm interested to see what he does because I know he's Vince McMahon's golden boy. I don't see him cashing it, being a successful cash in on Roman at all. Like Seth or Drew is way more believable as Money in the Bank briefcase winners of successfully cashing in on Roman than Theory is.
Jacob, what do you think, man?
I'm kind of torn on a lot of shit here. So when they announced Theory was the mystery opponent, it was just kind of like, okay, what random spot is he going to be in to fill a cool? Yeah, cool. That was the only thing I thought of. But when we're talking about like, can he successfully cash in on Roman? Yeah, I see. I think he could because he has the Vince McMahon storyline behind him. I mean, is it as believable? Is he as tough as, Seth or whatnot? Like, absolutely not. But having Vince McMahon in your corner is certainly a very big thing. Although I gotta imagine people away from that for a long time. Vince McMahon storyline.
Yeah, I haven't seen him back someone like this since like Drew McIntyre, and then that failed, and him firing Drew, and then Drew reinventing himself. We got the Drew we got now, so it's like. So my thing is Jacob. If he cashes in, Jacob, it ruins your thing of Rock, Roman title, and Mania.
No, it doesn't. No. Because he's not cashing in beforehand.
Oh, you think he's going to hold it?
He can cash in after.
Okay.
I said whoever's going to take the title is either A, Rock at Mania, or B, right after Mania.
Okay.
They're going to lose that title. It could be at Mania. He could attempt to pull another Seth Rollins heist of the century very easily. So I don't see anything happening with it until later on down the line. Unless they do that cool thing that I always say, like cash it in on the US title or tag titles or some other title. I would fucking love to see that. I can see him losing to Bobby again and being like, nah, fuck this. We're going again right now. Just to see what happens.
So I wanted to read some of these past men Money in the Bank winners, how long they held it, whether it's successful or not. Because outside of Liv, because Liv was that impactful cash in. The men wise, hasn't been really so much. So the last man winner was Big E. He held the contract for 57 days, but he told us he was going to cash in on Raw, and he did September 13th. So it's like, oh, Big E won the title. Great, but he told us he was cashing in. And then it made Bobby Lashley look stupid that Big E told you he was cashing in this day, and you weren't prepared. Whatever. So The Miz, which before The Miz, remember, in 2020, Omos won the briefcase, but then he lost the briefcase to The Miz at Hell in a Cell.
You mean Otis?
I'm sorry. Otis. Yeah, Otis, not Omos.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
I was so pissed off about that.
Oh, I was too, because it's like Otis won money, and Otis was Ryan and I. He was a man of the normal people, had Mandy Rose, got the briefcase. We're like, oh my God, they're not going to pull the. And then he lost it. They had Money in the Bank, and then he did this, but he was dead for a while. But then The Miz held it for 119 days, cashed in at Elimination Chamber. Brock Lesnar, another person, 2019, just randomly showed up to the match, climbed the ladder, took the briefcase, held it for 56 days, cashed it on Seth. Braun Strowman won in 2018. He held it for 78 days, but then he turned it in like, oh, I want to cash in at Hell in a Cell. And then he didn't even win the title. Baron Corbin held the title for 58 days in 2017. Unsuccessful cash in on Jinder Mahal. And then that's just going back the past 5 years with the men. So I just feel like as much I can't have the tribal chief take his first pin in almost is going to be probably 3 years on a cash in. I want that person to beat him so that we all explode. I don't think we're exploding off an Austin Theory cash in.
No, because he has a lot of people don't want him to be where he is, like his spot. A lot of people feel like it should be somebody else's spot. So I think him cashing in won't get the impact as Liv cashing in.
Oh, absolutely not. No way. But they're also doing this thing like, oh, I'm the youngest U.S. champ, the youngest Money in the Bank winner. People are saying he's about to be on this youngest three. He's going to be the youngest Royal Rumble winner. He's going to be the youngest world champ. Well, he'd have to do it before 25 because Randy and Brock were the two youngest. But Jacob, I want to throw it to you because I just brought up Randy. if Austin became champ, is he even ready for this? Because Randy was not ready when he beat Chris Benoit, and they had to take the title off him. Like, would he be ready to be the face carrying the company? He ain't Roman. He would have to come to work every fucking day. And I don't know if, like, is he ready for that?
If Vince McMahon is keeping a very tight leash on him, then yes. Which I feel like he would. And honestly, like I said with the Ronda thing earlier, someone cashing in on Roman actually makes the most sense. Because everyone's going to be strong. Everyone's going to win in that storyline perspective. And if it's Austin Theory, then fucking send it, dude. Because how else are you going to beat Roman? You beat him after he gets he has the most teardown match with The Rock at WrestleMania.
Well, you already picked your person. You think it's going to be Gabe. You and Justin were on the Gabe train.
I know, but Austin Theory winning the title or winning Money in the Bank, no one would have predicted this. No one predicted this a week ago.
No, none of us did. You're right.
So even throwing that perspective in, fuck, I can see it happening. And I'm not going to be upset by it. It's not going to be as impactful as Liv because people wanted Liv. The crowd was behind Liv.
And Liv's grind.
Behind Austin Theory because Austin Theory is just, you're like, wait, who the hell? Like, even I at times go like, who the hell is Austin Theory and why do I care?
Mm-hmm.
He just doesn't have that impactful electricity behind him. No. He's just a fucking, like, I don't mean this in a bad way, but like, he's a fucking mid-carder that you just can't, he doesn't have like the look, and I'm not trying to sound like fuck Austin Theory. I'm not saying that at all, even though it's coming off like that. I'm not sure how else to describe it. Like, he just doesn't have that it factor. But magically putting himself over Roman, I could see it. Like, why not?
It's gonna be one of those things too, like where obviously Austin ain't moving the same merch or like Roman is right now. He's not filling up the arenas to look like those decisions. But it's one of those things that's like, man, there's still a lot of people on that card who, if they beat Roman, it's Hall of Fame solidifying. Obviously, the situation I want is not going to happen. I want Drew to beat him in England. I think that'd be one of the biggest victories of all time. I really feel like that would. Is it going to happen? No. But if he would have beat him in that England arena, oh my God, this place would explode. But it ain't going to happen. He's going to have a hard-fought match and lose. And obviously, it's just like the people I would have wanted to beat Roman, obviously Cesaro's in AEW, Finn Balor's in Judgment Day. Seth is at that point where I think he deserves it because he's been carrying this company when Roman's been at home, but he ain't going to do it. So I agree. It's like, where do you go from here? Bobby Lashley, I think, should get a match, but he wouldn't beat him, but he should at least get a match. But I see where you're coming at because we're at that point too. It's like, maybe Jacob is right. Maybe a cash-in is the only way to beat Roman. My other thing is Theory going to hold the briefcase? Is he going to F around and like lose it to somebody?
He's going to hold on to it. I think Austin Theory is going to be a great transitional champion. He's not going to hold that title long term, but 2-3 month run with the title, that I could see. Just as a transitional champion. Like, Roman's going to get done doing this, like, whenever he's ready. He's going to take some time off. And whenever he goes to take time off, boom, Austin Theory's right there ready to cash in. You have your heel champion.
He's already taken time off. We haven't seen him in 2 months or a month.
He's coming back this Friday.
Woo! My champ is back. Well, not my champ, because the champ is coming back for a one-night gig until SummerSlam. Woo!
Someone said Austin could cash in and only take one title. So then we finally alleviate Roman can still be gone, but at least Raw has its champion. What do you think of that?
See, I would like that idea. I need to see at least one champion, full-time champ. Because Bianca's a full-time champ. Liv is about to be a full-time champ. Liv is probably going to show up more on SmackDown than the actual Universal Undisputed Champion is, which is wild. But I like that idea of him just saying, you know what, I want the Raw Championship. I'm going to cash in on just take that belt. I think that's an excellent idea. I think that would put Austin Theory maybe a little more over than what he is. Like Jacob said, I think he's right now, I think he's just a mid-carder. I think he should have held that U.S. title longer to get some traction behind him, make more people, get behind him. It's like, oh, he's had an impressive U.S. title. I can see him being in the main event spot. But like right now, I personally don't see him being in the main event spot, but I have been proven wrong before, and I'm willing to be proven wrong again. But I also think going from a heel champion to another heel champion doesn't make that much sense to me. Because if he cashes, I don't think he's automatically going to become like a babyface.
No.
I think he's still going to be a heel. And I think with Roman having this almost 2-year reign, I think you just need that babyface to win to get that feel good moment back.
So I want to throw this out to y'all because this is the reason I just can't get around Theory doing it, because Roman's title reign, which I think is actually past 2 years, we're getting to like year 3 almost, but getting close. I see Roman's title reign now, all the people he's beaten. This is the closest thing we've had in wrestling to like the streak, where it's like, you got to be really someone to beat Roman Reigns. There's a reason, which we all hated, but now I finally understood because it created the Beast Incarnate, Suplex City. There's a reason Brock Lesnar was the one who broke the streak and not Hurricane Helms. Like, there's a reason now. So that's why I see Roman's title reign as the streak, like the new era streak. Like, who is going to end it? Because this dude is beating everybody. Edge, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, everybody. So it's like, if you're going to be the one who ends Roman, you are the new guy, period, until Roman comes back. But that's just how when I say it like that, comparing it to like the new era streak, what do you think, Byron?
I think that's actually a really good comparison, because I don't know if you look forward to, I guess you do look forward to a Roman Reigns match to like who's going to beat him like you did with the streak, because like with Undertaker streak, you didn't know. It was the most important thing at WrestleMania every year. Right. You didn't know he was going to go like 20 plus years until Brock Lesnar beat him.
Mm-hmm.
But that yeah, that's actually a good comparison. The more I think about it, it's a good comparison. The modern day streak.
Because we do bitch about Roman not being at work. Fine. But when he's on the card, we know it's a big deal. We know his match is going to be the most important match. We know the crowd's going to be into it. I mean, he's over, man. The people do we, the ones, the tribal chief, Paul Heyman, the Usos. So it's like, we're all looking for that. Like, oh, could this be the time? Just like Undertaker's streak. Could this be the time he loses? With Roman, could this be the time he loses? If he doesn't, we're like, damn, he didn't lose. But unfortunately, it was a good match, except for that WrestleMania match with Brock Lesnar, the greatest match. That shit was trash. They should never brand any match the greatest match of all time unless it is. That was garbage. But Roman has been in his bag. So, Jacob, what do you think of that?
I get where you're coming from on the whole comparing it to the streak thing. I just can't find it within my soul to compare his championship run to Undertaker's streak. I can't do it.
I understand.
We're
going into 3 years, man. We're going into 3 years with a title.
It's going to be a record-breaking, legendary look back in the record books type fucking run. Just fine and dandy. He's beat all these guys, which means one thing and one thing only to me: time to build up your new guy.
Okay.
Is Austin Theory that guy? I don't know. I could see it. Maybe not. It's all up in the air. I mean, back to the point you were talking about earlier, Byron. You saying that it has to be an uber face take the title from Roman. Honestly, if we look at the how wrestling works, like every good heel turns babyface eventually. Roman, I think, could easily do that at this point. He can slowly start to kind of transition to some face stuff. I don't know how he's going to be a face if he's facing Rock. I don't think that's possible.
No.
I don't know how the fuck this is going to work. I'm pretty good at picking out shit too, but man, I don't fucking know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you got it. You either have to solidify someone who is already established as like the fucking guy, or you build your new guy. Is it Austin?
Is it Braun Breaker?
Is it Gable Stevenson or fucking name?
I mean,
is it? I mean, hell, you could even take fucking turn Tommaso.
I was about to bring him up. Yeah.
I mean, he's obviously can do the work as a heel. He can obviously do the work as a face. I mean, all the work he did in NXT is, fucking amazing. You have. It's not like they've 100% booked themselves in a corner. They just have to work hard to get themselves out of the corner.
Speaking of Gabe, one of the last things. So that vignette that came out, the promo video was all dark, gloomy. First, the wrestling community, there was like, holy shit, Bray Wyatt's coming back. And then you see the medal and you're like, oh, it's just Gabe. I don't know where that's leading, but
not Gabe.
You don't think that's Gabe?
No.
So who do you think? You think it's Bray?
No, it's Edge.
Oh, okay.
Did Edge have a gold medal though?
It had Latino Heat license plate.
Mm-hmm.
It had gold medals. It had Hardy's wristbands and shit. It had Dudley glasses. That's all people Edge is faced and beat.
Okay. I did not see. I just saw the darkness in the streets. The first thing they said was Bray's coming back.
Yeah.
Nah, because that's what a lot of people were thinking, but the gold medal threw everything off.
Mm-hmm.
And once Latino Heat, I'm like, okay. And then I seen Hardy's and the Dudleys. I'm like, oh, that's Edge. So I think it's just going to be a reincarnated Edge of some sort.
All right. That's a good call, Jacob.
It seems kind of weird because I feel like he's only been gone for like a fucking month.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, whatever, WWE. Yeah, that's not Gable Stevenson. That's not Wyatt. That's Edge in my book. The only person that makes sense.
Good way to really watch that thing, man.
Yeah, because I didn't see any of that. I just saw the gold medal. I was like, oh, that's good. Okay.
Now I got to.
Then I was like, why are they turning him into a horror gimmick when they touted him as like a wrestling gold medalist champion? But
yeah,
I think if they bring back Bray Wyatt, you're not going to see any vignettes. He's just going to show up and be impactful, whatever he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob,
yes.
If he comes back, are they still going to treat him like shit?
He comes back, he has to beat Roman. I have to throw it out there. He has to beat Roman if he comes back. That's the only way to right most of the wrongs.
Pretty much all of them.
I mean, if you do beat Roman, your whole history is changed forever.
I don't know. WWE let me down just every possible turn with Bray Wyatt, except when he won an Elimination Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
So, but do they treat him the same theoretically if he comes back to WWE? Fuck, I don't know. I don't know. I want to be like, yeah, would this guy get the Cody treatment? Would he get the Bray Wyatt countdown? Would Is he going to be the marquee on the front of the card every single time, on the side of the buses, all that jazz? I don't know. It's hard to tell because I got absolutely shit on for year after year after year after year. So I don't know.
Well,
I hope he goes to AEW. I hope he takes over Dark Order because they keep fucking losing guys left and right. Time to fucking make that stable scary again.
I hear you. Anything else, guys? Man, we hit a lot. It's not like we're going to be a long absence. We're going to be back in a couple weeks previewing SummerSlam.
I don't know. I keep seeing a lot of some New Japan guys pissed off about Forbidden Door.
Why?
Naito is pissed off about it. Hiroki Goto, whatever. I feel so bad because I can't now not pronounce their fucking names to save my life.
Mm-hmm.
But Naito was pissed off because he wasn't there, and you see Goto's fucking pissed off because he was the only one representing Los Ingobernables at Forbidden Door. I think something you're going to end up seeing in the future with AEW is I don't think they're going to be doing business with CMLL and AAA.
Okay.
You missed out on Pentel Zero, fucking one of his 8,000 fucking names. Ray Phoenix, Naito, Roosh, and Andrade. You missed out on the thing that's just 5 guys off the top of my head because all those guys have those deals with CMLL or AAA or whatnot, where they I don't know how the fuck that works, but somehow they basically blackballed them into saying like, yeah, you cannot be on this fucking pay-per-view with these guys, which makes no fucking sense to me. But hey, whatever. So I can't imagine Tony Khan in the future is going to be like, yeah, if you're going to work with them, this has to be in the contract or we're not doing business with them anymore.
No, fair enough. That's a good point. I would also say too that I forgot what it was like to have a super long Sunday pay-per-view before Forbidden Door.
Oh, that's true, because it's been on Saturdays.
Yeah, because WWE is doing Saturdays, and JR was like, maybe we need to cut it down a little bit. And like those people, man, they had so many people in that car, they can't fit everyone. It's just, it is what it is. Unless you would have made it like a 2-night thing, you weren't fitting everybody. It's just also, the way it is.
Something else we have to talk about. Israel Adesanya coming out with the greatest UFC entrance of all time with the Undertaker's theme song, the Undertaker's hat.
Chuck talks about it in his podcast coming soon this week.
And him coming out with the urn with Jared's name on there, who's facing Jared Cannonier. Fucking, that was awesome. So, like, glad to see that crossover. It's always MMA coming to WWE, it seems like, or vice versa. But, like, just seeing this nice little homage, that's nice.
Oh, you want to talk about homage now? Now we're really ending with this little fucker who had the nerve. So after Money in the Bank, you see Vince McMahon, Stephanie, Triple H, and Pat McAfee there. And just seeing Vince McMahon in public when you're under investigation just didn't sit right with me at all. Like, I know people are like, it doesn't matter, but just seeing him there, I was like, oh, you smug little bitch. First you would come and you're the one who introduces John Cena on his 20th anniversary, which I'm still not okay with. And then you're just there chilling and Money in the Bank. And I'm like, UFC 276. I'm like, okay. Like, shouldn't you be like trying to not have spotlight on you? Because right now, it sounded like the people are liking Stephanie better than you. You don't want one of these situations where the board's like, dude, we're kicking you off for good.
Dude, he's still running the show.
Creative, but if Stephanie becomes his boss, she could fire him.
She ain't gonna be his boss. They know exactly what they were doing. It's just a puppet state right now. That's all it is. And I might be an asshole for this. I want to see so much more Vince McMahon. I said this on the last podcast. Him coming out and just being cheery as fuck is so... What a fucking power move by Vince McMahon. He's the only person on the planet who can do this and not fuck.
I'm surprised he's going to come out and introduce Theory on Saturday.
I hope he fucking does. Or I wish he would have. Like, fuck, dude, it's so funny. Like, I find it goddamn hilarious at this point.
It's annoying.
Yeah, I'm with Martin on this one. He's annoying. Just go sit down somewhere. You're, 76? take a chill pill, dude.
No, dude, get out there, snort some cocaine in the middle of the ring. I don't give a fuck. I want all the Vince McMahon right now. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh man. Anything else?
That Max was saying
Byron had something. Oh, well,
we haven't mentioned this name in a while, but Tessa Blanchard has a match coming up soon.
Does she even make it to the match?
Yes.
I don't know.
Let's be honest. Does she make it to the match before she? One of our people say, one of our fans, Patrick says, "Oh, Heat is good." There's sometimes where Heat is bad. Tessa Blanchard is the prime example of when Heat goes wrong. She is beyond nuclear. She's supernova Heat. Like, you cannot touch this woman because she's just bad.
Yeah, not all Heat is good Heat, and Tessa, like you said, Tessa Blanchard is a perfect example of maybe you probably should sit down somewhere and get your life together.
But that pay-per-view, because it'll make it to the pay-per-view, she'll have the match. And I'm sure there will be drama said after said match. I have no doubt about that. That's fine and dandy. But Tessa is going to draw so much money for that fucking indie promotion. Forget the name of it. People are going to buy the pay-per-view because they want to watch Tessa. Tessa is like the only female on the planet who legit has not been in a massive promotion. And yet somehow is so fucking talked about. Like, got herself over even all this fucking controversy, all this nuclear heat, or supernova heat. I like that, by the way.
Thank you.
That you have to give her props almost. Like, yeah, she's probably fucking batshit crazy. I'm not sure. She might be hard to fucking work with. That's without a doubt. But holy fuck. She's over. People are going to buy the pay-per-view just to see it, just to see what controversy and drama it comes with.
Are you watching it?
No, because my pirate TV service is
All right. With that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. Make sure you like, rate, comment, subscribe. We're going to be back in a couple weeks previewing SummerSlam. I think you already know where we're going with the Brock Roman last man standing match because we did not mention any possibility of Brock Lesnar winning. So we'll be back in a couple weeks previewing that. And until then, make sure you follow the L7C on all social media platforms. You can listen to us anywhere. All you have to do is just Google the L7C podcast and wrestling. If you want to listen to wrestling content, you'll find it. With that being said, this is the L7C podcast signing out.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.